Om Bhurбhuvassuham Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayantam.
Saram everyone. Today we are going to speak about different kinds of yoga, different branches of yoga which our beloved Swami was preaching, analyzing, teaching people. Of course, the most famous aspect of yoga, which obviously connected with the Sathya Sai tradition and philosophy, is Bhakti Yoga, which is yoga of devotion. Okay, let us remember actually that really speaking there are so many kinds of yoga, and just 4 of them we can see in the Bhagavad Gita. Sage Vyasa, who wrote Bhagavad Gita, he focused his mind on 4 kinds of yoga, which he, I think, considered as the most important. So this is karma yoga, yoga of service. So it means when we doing some service, charitable projects, and if our mind, if our consciousness is really fixed on God, and if we serve people really as the process of service to people and God, then okay, that's become karma yoga, because not each and every action is actually karma yoga, as you remember. The second kind of yoga is actually bhakti yoga, yoga of devotion. And again, yoga of devotion is certain state of mind. It's not, just certain outside activity. For example, sometimes people think that, okay, what does it mean bhakti or devotion? Means you chant some bhajans, mantras, you put Swami's photo on the wall. Okay, that's not devotion. Devotion is a state of mind, is the way you approach life generally. It means very subtle actually practice. The next is jnana yoga, yoga of wisdom, which is mostly related with analytical approach to meditation, and analytical approach to scriptural study. So it means jnana yoga mostly it's about scriptural study, but let us be clear that not only Vedic or Hindu scriptures you can study, and that's going to be jnana yoga. You can study Holy Quran or Bible or Buddhist scriptures, or maybe modern contemporary spiritual esoteric literature, and that's going to be also jnana yoga. But again, jnana yoga, it doesn't mean that you know, for example, the meaning of Bhagavad Gita or Brahma Sutra or Upanishads or maybe Bible or Buddhist sutras pretty well, and that's all. Of course, jnana yoga means you are contemplating the meaning of the scriptures, and it leads you to certain transformation. So again, and the yoga number 4, which we can see in the Bhagavad Gita, is actually dhyana yoga, which is yoga of meditation. And again, maybe you remember from my previous videos that I myself practice Kriya Yoga meditation, and I teach Kriya Yoga meditation, and actually this is exactly what in Bhagavad Gita Vyasadeva calls dhyana yoga or meditation. That's the reason why when we read about meditation, like chapter number 4, 5, 6, okay, then a little bit chapter 8, chapter 11. So we have some glimpses on meditation, and Vyasa Deva, he calls it like dhyana yoga, yoga of meditation, but actually we call it now mostly like Kriya yoga. That's basically the same. So why Vyasadeva choose just 4 types of yoga? Big question, and I think that for him that 4 kinds of yoga actually most important, which include everything, all aspects of spirituality. But really speaking, there are greater number of yogas, and for example, very famous, especially in the West, Hatha yoga. Okay, so we don't have any message about Hatha yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, but still that's one of the branches of yoga. And also yoga of conscious dreaming, so-called yoga of dream yoga. So that's a very important branch of yoga, because when we can be conscious and can practice different spiritual disciplines while we awake during the daytime, then of course why not to practice the same meditation and be conscious while you staying in a state of experiencing night dreams. So that's also a very important branch of yoga, and for Kriya yoga especially. Of course, we have pranayama yoga, which is also not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now in the most of the yogic ashrams and yoga centers all over the world, they use such a term like Nidra yoga, but some confusion is there actually, because normally now people call Nidra yoga the set of practice related to relaxation. So it's like relaxation in Shavasana, they call it Nidra yoga. But originally Nidra yoga is exactly ability to be conscious while you experiencing night dreams. So of course we have mantra yoga, which is also not mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So it means we can easily say that there are maybe few dozens of yogas which actually exist for thousands and thousands of years. Just in the Bhagavad Gita we have 4 types of yoga which Vyasadeva choose as the main one. Of course, when we speak about Sathya Sai Baba, our beloved Swami, so actually sometimes people really ask this interesting question, okay, what kind of yoga he was preaching. And as I mentioned, as you know pretty well, that the most famous aspect of yoga was exactly Bhakti yoga, yoga of devotion. Okay, I want to say a few things which are just my opinion, and of course I don't want to pretend that I know everything. No, whatever I say is just my opinion, nothing more. First of all kinds of yoga, including Bhakti yoga, that question about mind, that's different states of mind. So it means it's not something which you can go and do something and act in a certain way, and then you can say to the people, look, I am practicing Bhakti yoga, or I am practicing Jnana yoga, or I am practicing Dhyana yoga, meditation. So that's not outside kind of things, outside activities. It's a state of mind. Because, if we take as example Dhyana yoga, yoga of meditation, sometimes people think that, let us sit with closed eyes and pretend that we meditate. But that's not meditation. Sometimes people chant a lot of bhajans, then put everywhere Swami's photos, but that's not bhakti, that's not devotion, because we have unfortunately examples when people pretend that they're devotees, but really they're doing a lot of bad kind of things. Yeah? And the karma yoga, it's also not just action, not just service, but service in a very special state of mind when you see, okay, first of all, you have to be very honest in your service, because all that charitable projects connected with education or whatever, sometimes they're not genuine actually. So you have to be, stick to the truth and genuine, and contemplate the process of your action. And when you help people, you have to observe this as a service to God. So it means it's not just you go and do something nice. So karma yoga is also the contemplation while you're performing certain action. I mean, service to the society or people. So the same with the jnana. Yeah, you can read a lot of scriptures, memorize them, and it will be 0 point of wisdom. So it means you study scriptures, that's jnana yoga, and then you contemplate, and then you experiencing, let us say, some kind of breakthrough experience or whatever, aha moment, eureka moment, and that's jnana yoga. And so according to my opinion and observation, that actually Sathya Sai, our Swami, he was preaching, he was teaching his devotees all kinds of yoga. So it's not only bhakti yoga, but all kinds of yoga. That's very important, because according to my personal experience, during interview time, he was able to teach people even pranayama, yogic breathing exercises. I have some friends who told me that back in 70s and 60s, Sathya Sai was able to teach even hatha yoga. That's historical facts. Of course, he was teaching meditation a lot. First of all, 2 techniques. Number 1 was so-called Soha meditation, very ancient, since ancient times like Adi Shankara time or even earlier. So Soha meditation, and also Jyoti meditation, meditation on candle or like light. So it means, of course, it was mantra yoga, because all of us, we know that Swami was teaching Gayatri mantra japa. So it means, okay, that's interesting question about what kinds of yoga Sathya Sai was teaching his devotees, and my answer is all kinds of yoga. All kinds of yoga. That was very special for Sathya Sai. Yeah, also a very interesting fact of his message. Sai Ram, see you next time.
Om Bhurбhuva Swaham Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayantam